The power of repetition. Repetition, repetition, repetition. That's what I want to cover with today. You know what they say, muscle memory, right? Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. We hear it all the time. Repetition, rinse and repeat. Very powerful repetition, a very powerful tool in your arsenal to create your world. The power of repetition. You know, when it comes to creating, changing your habits, whatever it is you want to accomplish in your life, you have to create certain rituals or habits. People call them habits, I call them rituals. Same thing. You have to get your mind to buy into what you're doing. Your brain, you got to get your brain to buy into it. And the only way you can get your brain to buy into something is a process known as repetition. Something you have to do over and over again. That's repetition. And one of the biggest thing I got from it, so everyone knows who Cynthia Stafford is. She won the Mega Million, 112 million in 2007. She started visualizing in 2004. It took about 3 years. But the big thing I got from that is, you know, anytime you're going to build your dreams or do anything, it's going to take work. It's like a job. It's a mind job, a mental job. And what she did, she mentioned to me, she said that was very profound, is that she visualized every day and meditated every single day for about 3 years. And it got to a point where she didn't feel to visualize or meditate anymore. That whenever you get to that point, it means the brain, the mind has already accepted your requirement. The mind says, okay, I accepted, I bought into it. And everyone knows the rest is history. She manifested a big jackpot, over 112 million bucks. But what did she do, man? She enacted the power of repetition. That's what I do too. That's how I incorporate when I won the lottery, and when I win those lotteries, those numbers I superposition those numbers, or bring those numbers in, collapse those numbers. It's an act of repetition. It's something I have to do. It takes mental energy, it takes focus, it takes concentration, and that's what you have to do if you want to change your life. You have to have your brain buy into it, because you see, your brain has this default program that's controlled by the conscious mind. The conscious mind is already been programmed along with the subconscious into like bad habits, bad stuff that's not going to serve you. A lot of stuff like fear, or just stuff that doesn't portray self-confidence, self-belief. And it becomes difficult because we're being constantly distracted by a lot of stuff. You're constantly distracted by everything going on in your life. And you have to lock in. It's all about locking into your goals. Everyone should know by now that your thoughts create your environment, right? Everyone should know that. So when you know that, you have to start to think of repeating thoughts that will form a belief. And that belief will drive some sort of action or inspire action, and that belief will create the circumstance for you. That's it. You got to lock in. You got to really lock in. You got to get the sayer and the doer to agree. That's what I call lock in. The sayer is the conscious mind. The sayer is your ego, or the conscious mind. It tells the subconscious, which is the doer. The sayer and the doer, they got to lock in. And that's alignment. And that's how you're going to get stuff in your world. They say you got to what? Project it, expect it, receive it. Actually, it's like this. You have to decide, project, expect, receive. Right? Decide, project, expect, receive. I want to break that down because that's a great formula. That's the formula for manifestation right there. That's what we do, but some of us, we don't know how this stuff works. Decide just basically means make up your mind on what you want. Not make up your mind on how what you want is going to come to you. Right? To manifest anything, you have to visualize. You have to see it. Point blank. That's number one, right? But it sounds important. But here's the most important part about all that. The visualization is very important, but that's not the most important part in manifesting something. It's so simple, yet no one will get it. But I'm going to share it with you right now. You're going to be like, what? For real? The most important part in manifesting, guys, is people don't know for certain what they want. They haven't made a decision. If you can't make a decision and decide that's what I want, not what I think I want, you're not going to get your goal. You're going to get weird, trippy stuff because you're going to manifest uncertainty. Think about that. That's where people mess up. They think of something they think they want, but they're not even sure they want it. That's the secret, man. That's why I say decide. I think Cynthia said this, or decide, project, expect, receive. I've always talked about decision, man. I said, look, when you want something, don't ever think about how you're going to get something, because you lost the game if you do that. Because you're going to use your mind, and your mind can't see in the beyond. Your mind can only see in the past. Well, the past, I mean your past experiences. So I used to make that mistake. I'll be the first to admit it, man. When I started to manifest the car or thing, I was thinking like, how am I going to get this car? See, I started to do that. And I did it for a lot of stuff, but I switched it over because I understand the mistake I was making. I was getting my mind involved, and I don't want my mind involved because my ego, I can't have it involved because it can't help me. So I just started to decide what I want. And I don't think about how am I going to get it the way. I just decided what I want, and I visualize it as an end thing happening, and then I leave whatever way it wants to come to me. Now, of course, the lottery is a different entity. The lottery is decide I want to win the lottery. That's the lottery is easy because all I had to do was I said, okay, I decide I want to win the lottery. Okay, Mark, how is it going to come? I know it's going to come through the lottery, to the money. So I just visualized that. I stayed on that. But that's easy to do. But the problem with the lottery, too, is people are very impatient. They'll start playing, and they think they're going to win in like a month or 2 weeks. It doesn't work that way. Some people will, but it takes time. It's like a job, man. Winning the lottery is like a job. You have to be in it. You have to see it every night. So it's not this thing where it's like an instant thing. For some people it can, and listen, and I'll be the first to tell you, I don't have a clear answer why some people can win in 1 week or 1 day versus 2 years or 5 years, but this is my theory on it. I think it has to do with their contract with their higher self, or what they decided before they came here that, okay, you're going to win in 1 week, you're going to win in 2 years. That's my personal opinion on that. But when I won it, it was a job. Every night I was visualizing. I was surrounding myself. I became entangled with it. I was patient. I stopped sweating it. I played it like muscle memory. And then when it happened, it just happened. So the matter of lottery is easy. So anybody watching this, all of you want to win a lottery, it's very simple. I'm going to tell you right now. Decide, project, expect, receive, and forget about it. Stop thinking about, oh, it's not coming. I've been doing 6 months. If you're saying to yourself it's been 6 months, you're in resistant mode because you're thinking too much on it. It's going to happen when it's going to happen. If you're playing it, if you have a budget, if you're believing it, if you're seeing it, it will happen one day. Point blank. I'll tell you another secret. When you master repetition and you start to like get good at your craft and do your thing, do your work, whatever you're creating and manifesting, when you start to do it, that world becomes entangled with you now. So what does it mean? It means, okay, let's say you're someone that's into sales or, well, I'll use the lottery because this is the only way I can relate to it from my thing. So what with the lottery, because I started it, I became entangled with the lottery. So now everywhere I go, I'm always getting messages about lottery. Universe is always helping me to like win lottery. I'll see numbers. And I told you this story like a couple of weeks ago. I went to the Winn-Dixie and there was this number right in front on the floor in front of me from like a parking decal, and I played it, and it came out like it was $7,000 and I won it. So you actually become entangled with your field. So you could say this beyond the lottery. So let's say you're someone into, I don't know, maybe real estate or sales or something. That means you're going to be entangled with your field. That means there's always going to be some opportunity for you to get more sales or something. You're always going to see something on the internet. So that's the beauty about this, guys. Once you become entangled with your desires start to show up to help you even more. Even after you manifest your desires, you can never break the entanglement now. You're always still going to get these entangled stuff with it. Now, entanglement works on two aspects now. Entanglement also means on a negative aspect. So if that means if you're someone that's like always thinking negative and always expecting the worst to happen, you're going to be entangled in that universe. So a lot of you always going to have the worst. You're always going to be like, man, see, I told you, man, this always happens to me, man. Why me, da-da-da? Because you're entangled. So you got to remember, you become entangled with what you dominantly think about. When I mean entangled, I mean the universe is actually looking to show you more of that stuff as an experience. Remember now, the universe isn't going to tell you seeing good or bad. That's your decision. It's just going to give you what you become entangled with. How do you know if it's right for you? Because you will feel it in your heart. It will feel good. You will have a positive energy and movement to it. When something is right for you, there won't be any doubt or question. So that's a reminder for you guys that everything that you do, you become entangled with. Anything. You do it long enough, you think it long enough, it becomes, you can't break the connection, ever. It's always going to look for you. It's always going to try to help you. That's why I always say, when you go to sleep at night, make sure the last thing you're falling asleep is something positive, because you're creating an entanglement. Thank you, guys. Keep up good stuff, and happy manifesting. See you again.